Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Well, here we are getting very close to the start of summer, although in some parts of the country, it's been feeling like summer for months now. But with that comes that feeling of entertaining outside. And let us not forget the fact that the price of real estate now is through the roof in many areas. A lot of people are saying, I'm not moving anytime soon, so I'm going to refurbish or reform, transform my living space. We're going to focus today on the outdoor living area and what you can do with that. I found two people that take care of those designs, and I'm looking for ideas. I'm looking for suggestions, and that comes in the form of Hannah and Caitlin, and they are co-owners of Realm Design, and they're back with us. Ladies, welcome. How you doing today?
Hello, good. How are you?
So somebody's in San Diego, somebody's in Nashville. Who's who?
So I'm in San Diego. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
When
So it always feels like summer here.
right? And like the perfect summer, like the perfect
Yes.
temperature and everything like that.
75, not humid. It's great.
I think I'm in New York. I got 71 and sunny, and Nashville. How are we feeling today?
Very humid, lots of
Yeah.
rain. It's rainy season. So we got summer thunderstorms almost every day, but they're quick. They come and go, and then we got sunshine.
Gotcha. I haven't been there in a long time. I don't think of it as being humid, but it is really that humid in Nashville.
Yes, it's actually borderline rainforest if you look at the rainfall. So it's definitely interesting when it comes to planning outdoor design and furniture and all the things. I think in every space, every state that you're in, you have to think of how climate affects all of those things. But it definitely is something to take into consideration for sure.
So much to talk about here when it comes to your outdoor living space. Caitlin, where do you want to start?
We can talk about the different spaces in outdoor design. I think kind of like your home, you want to anchor each space as its own. You want to have your dining space, your living space. There's usually some other kind of entertainment space, such as jacuzzi or fire pit. I think that is like a really good just like foundation point of it, of making sure that you're dedicating those different spaces for different uses.
Okay, so let's laser into, let's call it just the seating area, because a lot of backyards, you'll have your dining space, you have your hot tub, you have your fire pit and all of that. The seating area, what do we need to keep in mind there?
Yeah, so a great thing to keep in mind, and just in how versatile furniture options are. Outdoor furniture these days, I mean, it's almost hard to tell if it's indoor or outdoor. The fabrics have come such a long way. The styles, it's not your typical wicker furniture that I think that we saw a ton of, where you go into Costco or you go into, name the store, and you buy the set, and it's the coffee table and the chair and sofa. Now it really is a beautiful collection of furniture. And we love to tell our clients that consider it the way that you would design an indoor space. Collect different pieces. Don't buy the set. Put things together in the way that you would think about a living room. So, depending on how many people you're trying to sit, maybe a big sectional, maybe that is 4 big cozy lounge chairs around a fire pit, or around a coffee table, more of like a conversation setting. There's just so many options now these days. And so I think that that's why so many people are hiring us now to do not only indoor, but also their outdoor spaces, because you have this flow of indoor, outdoor living that people are wanting to take advantage of and spend more time in their outdoor spaces. And so we love to design both together to make it cohesive and fit well.
Let's focus on the quality, because when you say wicker right away, I know what you're talking about. Been there, done that number of times. And I almost don't want to say it, but it's almost like disposable furniture when you go to some of the big box stores. In my opinion and experience, you're probably looking at maybe 6 years. And many of us don't have a place to store them inside or in a garage or anything like that. So then you'll put covers over them. Maybe you'll try and wrap them. It it helps a little bit. But how do you find something that's going to last maybe longer for the money? Is it worth spending a lot more? Do you get a lot more durability out of it?
For sure. Yeah, it's the same thing as when you're purchasing for inside of your home. You kind of want to invest in those bigger pieces. So the sofas, the just like more the cushion furniture, the fabric furniture, you want to invest in something that's higher quality, going to last longer. And then you can save a little bit on the side tables, the coffee table, rugs, even.
Mm,
As much as there's really good outdoor rugs nowadays, that gets the most wear and tear because it rains, it sits on it, it's kind of inevitable. So
yep.
I think investing in those bigger pieces, also a lot of companies these days, it's actually really smart. They make replacement cushions or replacement cushion covers. So as much as you buy the bulk piece of the furniture, if in a year or two the cushions are starting to look a little worn, you can just replace those cushions without having to replace the entire thing, which is a great investment as well.
Let's talk about the fabric now. There's so many different ones. They've gotten better. Sunbrella, one of the top companies that's been around for a long time. As I learned recently, there's different levels of even that. Initially I thought Sunbrella, it's great. It'll last the sun, UV and all of that. But no, to my surprise, they have different grades. And I guess you pay for, you get what you pay for. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like what Caitlin said. I think that it's all about the vendor that you source from. I think that that's part of the expertise that we can bring to the table in helping people select pieces is we kind of know the companies and the tier and whatever budget our clients are wanting to spend and their comfort level with that. That's where we'll source. And we also are really honest and can carry that conversation of, hey, maybe let's save a little bit by going through this vendor for some of your accent pieces. But we do want to steer you towards more of a higher quality, a better vendor source. We source through a lot of wholesalers. So once a year, or actually a couple of times a year, they open up a massive market in a few different locations around the country. And it's to the trade only. And so
Wow.
interior designers, other professionals can come, go through all the showrooms and touch and feel, test the furniture, talk to the reps, and really get an education on the quality, the durability, how things are made. And then we can take that education and bring it to our clients to make sure that we're providing the right recommendations for the right climate, the right home, the right lifestyle, and all of those things. So I think that's another advantage to what we can bring to the table and what we can help people select the right pieces.
Now, I didn't even know that was available where they open things up, and even the consumer, all we know is what we know walking in, the big box stores. That's all we've seen. So we don't know all this stuff that's floating out here in the design universe. Final question on the seating area and the furniture and things like that. I would assume that resort quality is going to last way better, going to be much more durable, much more expensive, obviously. In your opinion, is it worth even kind of looking down that road for that type of material?
I think it totally depends on realistically, how long are you going to own this home? How long do you want to use this furniture? What is the climate that you're living in? For example, here in Southern California, if you live by the beach, sometimes you do need to invest in those higher resort quality pieces just because the salt and the air, it's just really, really hard. So even with pieces that are higher quality, they're going to take a harder beating. So it depends. If you're like, this is my forever home and I don't want to have to redo outdoor for as long as possible, yeah, sometimes that is definitely the way to go. But not for everyone. Some people are like, my kids are going to destroy it no matter how much money I spend on it, and I don't need that.
Yep.
So
exactly.
yep.
All right. So I picked the seating area. Hannah, I'm going to throw it to you. What area do we want to focus on now?
So I think what we love to tackle is the I guess conversation, or it could look a lot of different ways, whether that's a dining area, an entertainment area. What we like to create is just the versatility. So you have, like Caitlin mentioned earlier, designated areas for each thing. It really depends on your space and your lot and what you have the capacity in the room to fit in. So, that could look like a whole separate shade structure with some lounge chairs under it. It could look like a built-in barbecue situation where we have some counter seating at a bar and kind of create like an own, almost like a restaurant vibe over in a different area of the backyard. But it kind of, there's a lot of different ways that people can translate their space. But with, no matter if it's small or big, there's, we tell people like, top tips, bring in greenery, add greenery, add life, add planters. If you have a small space, go to the store, grab some planters. Honestly, we love utilizing Home Goods for planters. It's a great resource. They have a ton of options. You can switch out colors, you can switch out florals, greenery, fruit bearing things. You could do herbs. There's so many different ways that you can bring in life and design elements using greenery. Also things like mood lighting. So now they have not just string lights that you can hang overhead, but there's outdoor lamps, there's outdoor lanterns that you can lay all around the floor and kind of create little clusters that really creates like that, the vibe, you know, the inviting, a place where people would want to come and dine, entertain, lounge, the whole thing.
I want to share with you that I renovated a backyard. I sold the house exactly 2 years ago. I was in it for 10. I renovated it about 2 in, and I should have hired both of you. Here's why. It was a fun project. It was pretty massive. When I bought it, there were trees in the backyard. I don't like killing trees or anything like that, but they were all scrubby. Some of them kind of dangerous. Never know if they're going to fall. So I got rid of all of them, started fresh, added grass, put a pool in, patio, pergola, seating area, all of it. It gave me an ulcer.
Oh no.
I'm not exaggerating.
Oh
I'm not, I did not exactly. I can't make it up.
Yeah, the stress
And
level.
I did some of the work myself. I trenched wires and that was all good, but managing the project, figuring it out, what can I put here? What can I do this, you know, and working at the same time. I had early hours at the same time working morning radio. I'm not exaggerating when I say the stress of that build and everything else, legit ulcer. I went to the hospital. I'm not even kidding. So
my gosh.
don't even, and it came out
Yeah.
beautiful and it was there for years and I was super proud of it. And I made it tropical, even to the point, I don't know if you guys know what a yucca is. The plant. I would actually trim the yuccas so they would look like palm trees, little mini palm trees.
my
And then
gosh.
after a while, it would encourage, I learned this, I just figured it out. It would encourage them to grow up. So you'd have a stalk and then they would get like, 3 feet, 4 feet, and they would look like palm trees. But the whole thing was a lot of work and it was wonderful, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's so stressful. Yeah, we tell clients that all the time. They're like, why does it cost this amount of money for you to design something? And it's like, there's so many decisions. It's not just picking colors or picking tiles for you. It's the coordinating everything together, getting the contractors what they need and the ordering and the managing and things come in damaged. And oh my gosh, there's so many details as
There
you
is.
realized involved.
And you don't know until you know. So as you do it along the way, then you learn. Like I put up the pergola and, I put curtains around it, actually thicker curtains and then sheer curtains. Well, quality wise, what happened with the thicker curtains? Well, they would blow in the breeze. So now I had to take them to the dry cleaner and put weights in the bottom because they would blow all over the place. And the sheer curtains would get trashed after one season. So I was like, why either buy expensive, but then buy cheap? And then all of these little things you guys have probably, I'm sure, been through and figured it all out. So you can just do it right the first time, not have to worry about the little nuances and all of that. Another area, where do you want to focus on? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, another thing to keep in mind when people are thinking about their outdoor spaces or possibly doing renovations this summer and kind of revamping their spaces, we are not landscape designers and we don't claim to be. And so we always tell people that up front. It's kind of how we refer to when we're talking about indoor areas. There's an architect, there's a contractor, and there's the designer. And it's like the trifecta of how we all work together. And similarly, outdoor, you have the landscape designer. That's a key part of that, in selecting the right plants and landscape, all of that for your climate. That's, things that are going to live and flourish. And then we come in and we look at it from the livability aspect of it. I think that a landscape designer is so talented in thinking about the flow and creating really unique separation with the different spaces and all of those things, pool design and jacuzzi and structural and all of those elements. But then we come in and we help select materials. How is it going to connect to your indoor? You want it to feel like it's cohesive with the inside of your house. And also bring in a different perspective on material selection and all of the livability, I guess, of it. So I think that's something to keep in mind too, is making sure that you have all the right people in mind for your project, to make sure that all your bases are covered and you can really get the best outcome in the end.
And that's not to say that you can't make, as designers, suggestions and say, might want to think of maybe putting a plant over here, maybe doing that. Now throw it to the landscaper. I wouldn't even know the names of the plants. I don't know how. It's like being a doctor and they know the names of meds, right? How do you even? I can't even say it. They know what it is. They know what's going to last in your zone and all of that. What are some things to maybe look out for? Anything on your radar that we should be aware of if we're going to do a backyard redesign?
Yeah, I mean, one thing to really kind of keep in mind is if you have amazing views in your backyard, what functionality or kind of entertainment space do you utilize the most that would get the biggest bang for your buck? Like if you're in the jacuzzi every single night and that is part of your lifestyle, maybe we put the jacuzzi right by that view, so that's what you're seeing. Or if you love hosting dinner parties, maybe we put that dining table and kind of create that whole entertaining space over there. So I think kind of like keeping in mind those kinds of flow and spacing placements is really important, and people don't think about. Sometimes we walk through a house with somebody and we walk out into their backyard and everything is pushed up against the house, and it's like the dining, the living, and they're like, well, this is where all the shade is. It's like, well, let's build a pergola or something really beautiful in this space so that you're utilizing, like, that's a huge part of your real estate. So keeping that in mind is definitely a big thing.
To your point, Caitlin, when you put that stuff up against the house, what's going to happen? You're going to get leaves and debris and garbage behind it, and then you're not even going to know it's there, and then stuff be living back there. I'm just saying. Or you can even do a sunshade.
Totally.
There's so many like triangle sunshades. If you have, 3 different corners to put it up there. I will share this that surprised the heck out of me. I put a pergola over my hot tub and I bought it at like Costco, maybe $1,500. It was pretty big. And it had some footings. Then you have the town come in and then they, for the pool and inspect and everything. Of course, your taxes are going to go up. Would you believe that pergola cost $1,500 at Costco, where if I had a running start, I could probably knock it down after it was up. I got taxed on.
My gosh.
And add to that, they told me that even if you have like one of those large Rubbermaid, maybe 3 or 4 foot deck boxes where you keep your cushions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where I am, they can tax that.
Oh my gosh.
like the stuff. Yeah, are you guys kidding?
Oh my gosh.
Right. What do they have? Like the tax police flying helicopters? Hey, they got a Rubbermaid deck box. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. So, I mean, it's the little things that you find out. Lighting. Let's go there. You had talked about those string lights, which I love the way they look. And they've even come so far, and even in the last like 5-7 years where they were just white, the larger ones I'm talking about on the string.
Yep.
Now there's colors and you can control them by phone, obviously. Any other, suggestions you have when it comes to lighting?
Yeah, there's so many options. And I think that helps to create a lot of that coziness, the warm, welcoming feeling that you want to have when you're in your outdoor space. Of course, that there's the solar powered spotlights that you can place all around your landscape to highlight different areas, to draw attention to, if you're creating a new space and you want to kind of add some coziness over there, you can just stick those right in the ground, and they're really easy and really simple. Other more permanent things, nowadays they have beautiful outdoor chandelier options.
Oh, wow.
Chandeliers maybe too fancy of a term when people think of, it's not like a crystal dripping thing, but just outdoor light fixtures, not just wall sconces that are attached to the home, but hanging fixtures. So if you have any kind of shade structure or pergola, you can hang a hanging fixture that is similar to an indoor look. Even some of them can be indoor outdoor. Again, it kind of is that versatility now. So adding things like that in any kind of area that you can. And then for the areas where it's more out in the open, adding string lights, adding lanterns, any kind of accent lighting to that. If you have a dining table, they have outdoor little table lamps, like kind of similar what you would see in a restaurant if you were dining outdoors, where there's little lamps that sit table side and just add that cozy glow. Of course, candles are a great option too. Keeping in mind the bugs of the season and all of the things, there's so many options. So the versatility, I would just say add more, and then you can kind of cater it to whatever your event or your lifestyle or however you're using this space is going to feel right.
And the time we have left, any other areas that we can look at, focus on for just a sec? Caitlin, thoughts?
We haven't really talked about like jacuzzi design or like pool layout, that entertaining. We just worked on a project that we're still kind of in the wrapping up phases of, but we're working through a jacuzzi design that in specific is geared on the view. So it's kind of raised up. There's a built-in bench around it, cushions, lighting, lighting in the steps, waterfall feature. So I think like if you're gonna invest, those items in your home are not inexpensive by any means. So it's like putting that thought of like, okay, I really like using the jacuzzi at night, but it's by the view. So what other ways can we use this during the day? And creating kind of that bigger, deeper daybed seating is a great way to curl up with a laptop or a book and spend time out there. So I think kind of thinking through versatility, like Hannah was mentioning earlier, of spaces that kind of can be used throughout the day or throughout the seasons versus just once in a while we have people over and we use that space. So
yeah, all of this stuff, it took me a long time to figure it out. Like you would have the ideas at your fingertips, like even done virtually, somebody sends you a video picture of their backyard, various ones, different angles and everything. And I'm sure you would look at it and say, here's an idea. You might want to think of that. What about that over there? What about that over there? And then have the client make the decision. Hey, I never even thought of that. It's almost endless what you can do, but we don't, as regular people, non-design people, we don't think of it that way. We don't have, the different thoughts. Any thoughts before we wrap up today? Final thoughts on anything?
Yeah, we would just tell people that's part of our job. When people hire us, we bring them through the whole process of conceptualizing new ideas and taking maybe a thought that you have and then expanding it and bringing new ideas to the table, connecting with professionals who can do unique, creative custom things in your space and make it something that you can use not just for the summer, but really all year round. And, I think that people are utilizing outdoor spaces now more as part of their home, as part of their livable, real estate inside square footage. So reach out to us with any project ideas. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at info@realmdesign.co. On social media, it's @realmdesignco. And we can go from there.
And Realm is REALM. This is what makes you guys radically different. I've talked to other designers before, and I don't want to say all of them, but I'm pretty sure all of them have said when it comes to outdoor living space and the design of them, nope, I don't do that. Nope, nope, I don't touch that. Nope. So that's where you guys are radically different. And I get you're not landscapers, you're not pool designers, and all of that. You're not masons. However, you can make those suggestions, and it's another set of eyes times two to help somebody out when they are working with those tradespeople. So I think it's like a powerful arsenal to have, and cool suggestions. Both of you, thanks for being here today.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. We'll talk soon. And we'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.